All right, picture this. I'm 11 years old. There would be less facial hair, and I didn't wear glasses back then. I'm in my living room watching cartoons when all of a sudden the TV just turns to like complete static, right? And the static it's followed by an important message, but it's not like, a thunderstorm or anything or a tornado warning. No, this message was to warn us of impending doom in the future. Jason Emmett here, Rewind Toys. And the bit I just told you might seem like I'm making it up, and I assure you that it really happened. I might be adding a little drama for the sake of the video. But it happened. It really happened. Stick around. We're going to explain what it was. The year was 1987, and the idea behind this particular line of toys was sort of genius marketing. You see, a new TV show was about to be released, and the early promotional spots made it look like our hero from the future was cutting into your program to deliver a message directly to you from the future. As a kid, this totally hooked me. The show and the subsequent toy lines, well, if you haven't figured it out, they were called
Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
And the plot was that a group of rebel fighters, led by Jonathan Powers, who after the cybernetic war, where the biodread machines tried to take over the human race, well, they rose up to fight back. Now, that's the very basic plot, and it has a lot of Terminator vibes to it, but honestly, it was a pretty cool story. Now, the show, which was considerably different than anything we'd had to market toys before because it was live action, but it still was marketed towards kids. I mean, kind of. I mean, they were definitely trying to sell toys, and those toys, they had a really cool gimmick, but there were some adult-oriented that we'll get to it. So Mattel had been brought in to create the toy line for this show. It shouldn't have been a difficult task either because with computer-generated graphics mixed into the whole thing, cool costumes and spaceship battles, the show was kind of ahead of its time. With that in mind, the show creators knew they needed something special, and so they came up with the idea to make the toys interactive with the show. Again, kind of a genius marketing ploy that would actually backfire a little bit later, but again, we're going to get to that. Just hold on. We'll get to all of it. So the idea was that during certain parts of the show, you could actually aim your toy spaceship or what have you at your screen and shoot, and the show would actually respond. The spaceships were designed in such a way that you could hold them like a gun. They had like a little trigger to squeeze, and they didn't look half bad either. Now, it worked by using light-based sensors that were able to detect specific light pulses from the TV that were placed throughout in specific scenes. That sounds like a lot of technical mumbo-jumbo, but it's pretty basic, especially considering this is 1987. So you could shoot at the TV, and the TV could sort of shoot back. If you hit your target, you would gain points. But if your target hit you, points would deduct. Enough hits, and your figure would actually, eject from the cockpit. See? Really cool gimmick. You could also, battle your friends directly, at least with certain ships you could, like the Phantom Striker. Think of this as sort of spaceship laser tag. If you don't know what laser tag is, we'll talk about it at some point, but you know what laser tag is. So now we have a fun, futuristic TV show and toys, and if we buy those toys, we can use it while watching that TV show, right? That makes sense. And this is a great way to get kids to want to buy these toys, right? Well, yes, but also what a great way to get parenting groups up in arms because you're targeting kids with TV, once again. See, these parenting groups, they begin to argue that the show was nothing more than a way to force kids to buy toys in order to be able to fully participate. I mean, yeah. Anyway, that wasn't the only reason the show failed after just one season. The show, which again was intended for kids, also wanted adults to be able to enjoy it, so it had a bit of a grown-up lean, including romantic scenes, sexual innuendos.
Innuendo.
And even a few words like damn and hell tossed in, just for good measure. Seriously, there was a scene where a character explodes, and right before they go out, they say, "Go to hell!" What an awesome kid show. Anyway, those parenting groups, they lost their minds. In the end, the show went down sort of like your ship did after you got shot too many times by your television screen. So let's talk toys, because that's what we're here to do. We had those cool ships I mentioned, of course, as well as action figures and play sets. The action figures included Captain Power, Corporal Pilot Chase, Lieutenant Tank Ellis, Major Hawk Masterson, Sergeant Scout Baker, Colonel Stingray Johnson, the evil Lord Dread, Tritor, Soren, Sky Sentry, and the Black Star Ground Guardian. In the playset realm, we had the Power Base, the Transfield Communication Station, and the Transfield Base Station. There was the Powerjet XT7 and the Phantom Striker, Power-On Energizer, Interlocker, Magnacycle, Mobile Sky Bike Launcher, ATR Mobile Proton Cannon, Dread Stalker, Soren Beam Deflector, and in Europe, the Anti-Personnel Patroller and Blast Pack 1200. There was also a carrying case and 3 interactive VHS tapes. All of that was available. All of it. So those action figures were G.I. Joe in scale, just under 4 inches, with multiple points of articulation. You could easily integrate them into a G.I. Joe storyline. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I did that. Not saying I didn't, but you could if you wanted to. There were also images and rumors of the Dread Commander and the Dread Trooper figures from a Mattel catalog. I don't really know if any ever hit the market or not, but if they did, I'm sure they're worth a lot of money, and somebody will let me know. Continuity Comics had a short-lived run of comics, and there was a game released for PC and Commodore 64. So in 2012, show creator Gary Goddard, who we will not be going into here, as it turns out he might not be the best dude in the world. Anyway, he stated he was going to revive the property with a new show. There were updates and even a teaser in 2014 and 2016, but nothing ever came from it. And with him as the showrunner, maybe that was a good thing. So as a kid, I only ever owned like one of these action figures, and it was one of the bad guys. But I did get to play with some of my friends, like ships and stuff. And in '87, I mean, it was just truly, it was really kind of amazing. Anyway, how about you guys? Any of you out there Captain Power fans? Let me know in the comments. Let me know down there in the comments. Were you a Captain Power fan? Do you remember it the way I remember? Like, do you remember that thing just interrupting your television set and you were like, whoa, what's going on here? Because, I mean, we were kids, so we bought it. We bought it. And then our parents bought it because we talked them into buying it. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. I want to thank every one of you guys for joining us here on Rewind Toys. And remember, until next time, when it comes to these really, really bitchin' 80s and 90s toys and the retro stuff, all of that, the hunt, what really is half the fun.